I was at the gym the other day, and I don't know why it just struck me this time when I went there, but I was just looking around the room and it was pretty full. Let's say there was like 50 people in there, so it was a reasonable enough sample size. I would say of that group of people in the gym, 90% of the people in the gym didn't have a trainer with them. So they were just kind of going about things on their own. Mind you, you have to remember, if you're in the gym, you've filtered for people who choose to be in the gym versus not. But these people are in the arena, right? They were paying attention to their own health and fitness. Just like if you're listening to a podcast, you're probably paying attention to your own finances. But 90% of the people in the arena didn't have a trainer. They were just going about it on their own. I would say that 99% of the people who didn't have a trainer probably could benefit in some way from using one. I think that's a fair statement. They would find some value, and almost universally, everybody would have something they could gain. The problem is that of the 10% of people who are actually using a trainer, who are in the arena and getting help, 80% of the trainers have literally no idea what they're talking about. It's kind of brutal. So that naturally gives people skepticism. And the reality is that the average person, the default experience is that people are just going about it on their own because they don't necessarily know any better. Which, if you were to kind of take all of this information, say there's a group of people who aren't in the arena, there's a group of people in the arena doing it on their own, there's a group of people working with trainers. By the way, most of them are pretty bad. What that means is the only possible solution for you to have the most predictable, positive outcome is to take the learning on yourself. You can't be passive. You have to be able to learn and distinguish what helps somebody make a good decision, whether it's financially or their fitness and health or anything else. If you simply rely on other people without having any context for the decisions or the information they're giving you, you have no idea what kind of outcome you're going to get. And you might get lucky and you might have a really good experience. But that just can't always be the expected outcome if human nature is to resort to average. Here's another mistake that I see a lot, and it's that the average person doesn't read their employee benefits manual. They just don't even look at it. And for a lot of people, especially higher earning professionals, much of, if not most of their compensation is driven by things that are outside of their base salary, whether that's bonuses, stock-based compensation, employee stock purchase programs, retirement plans, retirement plan matches, things like that. There are so many things that can drive your compensation outside of your base salary. And most of the time, the gate is simply knowledge. It's simply looking at it and saying, oh, shoot, I didn't know my employer gave me $1,000 into my HSA if I simply signed up. Nobody told me that. Whose responsibility is that? Nobody told me that. I don't know. But if they give you the information, you might as well use it to make a decision with your eyes wide open. I think I saw a stat that was for the people who get stock-based compensation, something like 50% of the people don't fully understand what that means. And a lot of times I've seen people who have, 5, 6, even 7-figure stock grants that will come to me and say, hey, I know I have this, but I actually don't know what it means. And you know what? That's okay because they're looking, they understand where their limitation sits, but simply having it and not knowing what it means is not necessarily a good recipe for a good outcome.